journey to Eurosong 2025.
Hi, I'm Samantha Mumba, and you're listening to the Eurovision podcast.
Hello, everyone. August Fáilte a Rash. Welcome back to the Eurovision podcast. Thank you so much for joining us in the next episode in our journey to Eurosong 2025 series. And what a journey we are having. Conor, how are you feeling this week?
I am bollocks. I'm knackered, lads. Oh, no, I don't care. We have ease on most episodes now, so I am bollocks, lads.
But for the YouTube, the algorithm.
YouTube's grand. No, don't worry about that now. I am absolutely knackered. This is what happens. We're always pumping out the episodes and busy interviewing, doing TikToks, all the sorts. But it's exciting. This is the time of year we live for. We love this time of year. So tired, but I'm excited, and I can't wait for our little cheeky little drink at the end of the week that we usually have to be like, we're finished, we're done, we survived. And the reaction online is incredible. I'm loving it.
Not to get too deep and philosophical about it, but back when, because we've had our 100th episode recently and we had Eurovision Wrapped and everything and our live show there, so there's been a lot of reflecting already if you're a regular Eurovision listener into how the podcast started and blah blah, because we're in our third season now and we're fairly seasoned, we're marinated, and it's just times like these I think gosh, this was what our goal was, Conor, when we set up Eurovision, to kind of have a platform that could cover something like Eurosong, the Irish Eurovision selection, just something we didn't see ourselves growing up following Eurovision, and the fact that we're here doing it now it's so cool. I want to stop and smell the roses. How sometimes it's kind of you look back on something and you're like, wow, that was so cool, that was so fun. I just think it's nice to be in the moment and acknowledge with you that this is really fun, as tiring as some of it can be for us behind the scenes. Although in fairness, I will say this is our third rodeo. I think the first time it nearly killed us, and now we've learned gradually how to make our lives a bit easier and getting prepped and planned and such. And a part of that, of course, is having contact with the artists pre their Eurosong release, which we were very fortunate to do with this artist today because she's a very busy lady. Miss Samantha Mumba, can you believe it? Samantha Mumba, it's so cool.
Yeah, a name, like we say in our interview, a name that has been cropped up year after year on a lot of people's wish lists. One of my wish lists, funny enough, and I know some people online were speculating, why would Conor want Samantha Mumba? Why Samantha? I think she has a fantastic voice.
Is this Discord?
This is Discord, yeah. We have a little cheeky eye in Discord sometimes, but
people psychoanalyzing us.
Yeah, our reaction video to all the six, and oh, that must be this person, that must be this person, and yeah, it was completely random, lads. No deep thoughts gone into that video whatsoever. But yeah, Samantha Mumba, obviously a big name in the early 2000s, hit after hit, a huge acting career as well. She moved over to the States. Well, she's grown up there in recent years, and someone who, my God, has a unlimited amount of experience in the music industry, and someone that it's going to be interesting to see how they tackle Eurovision and Eurosong, and I'm intrigued to see how they will do it. But obviously we've spoken to them at this stage, but they are clearly working very hard on this. And did you get kind of not frightened, but kind of scared, excited about the experience in a way? They're taking it very, very serious.
Yeah, and obviously you'll see now, and you'll hear shortly our chat with Samantha. But it's so lovely. There's something I love about Irish people in general. She's so normal and down to earth. It's just chatting to a new friend. A new member of the community. And she talks about kind of the element of pressure that can come with something like this, and it was great to hear that side of things, I suppose, and how she's really putting her all in, thinking it all through. She isn't taking the experience lightly, and I suppose as a really well seasoned, well loved performer, she knows that she can't just stroll into RTE and pick up the mic. I mean, she knows more than anybody how much work and time and effort goes into creating a really great, memorable performance. So I'm so curious. I like of all the acts, like I can't wait to see everybody, but I actually don't know what Samantha is going to do, to be quite honest. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what that will be. Every year, Eurosong is just so interesting, especially when there are acts there like Samantha, to see what they come up with. And as you delve into with her, Conor, like, you know, it is ultimately a restricted area and stage and resources and such. So yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions, some of which definitely get answered in this chat, and some which I suppose will be on February the 7th.
Yeah, yeah. Before we get into our chat and discuss the song, will we have a little listen to Samantha's song?
Absolutely.
This is Samantha Mumba, My Way.
Can't be taken inside of me. Oh, you a masterpiece. Nothing's controlling me. Breaking your mold of me. And this place is always surrounding me, protecting my energy. Won't be taken. Not even gravity can pull me back down. Fighting for what I believe. I'm a medicine and a disease. Oh, all these demons can no longer be. No longer be. I remember my power free. Doing it my way. Doing it my way. I'm not afraid to say. This voice deep inside can't be tamed. Can't be taken inside of me. I'm a masterpiece. Nothing's controlling me. Breaking your mold of me. It's always surrounding me, protecting my energy. Won't be tamed. Not even gravity can pull me back down.
And there we have it, Samantha Mumba's Eurosong 2025 entry, My Way. I did it my way.
Yeah, that builds, doesn't it?
It's
Love the
it's-
love strings me.
It's very not Samantha Mumba, if you get what I mean. I think
Mm.
some people might think it's Samantha and be like, oh, she's gonna give us like a proper like throwback 2000 pop anthem.
Yeah,
Or like a
I've
really
gotta
strong
tell you
ballad.
2.0 or
Yeah,
whatever,
or like
yeah.
a really strong ballad. This is like completely out of the box, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but she does talk about a big kind of like musical Eurovision related inspiration for her in the interview. And after she said that, it clicked. I said, of course, that makes sense for being the inspiration behind this song, or being one of the inspirations. Yeah, very different, Conor, as you say. Yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into this one. And I'm sure you guys are as well. So, without further ado, enjoy Airvision's chat with the one and only Samantha Mumba. We are continuing on our journey to Eurosong 2025, and we are speaking to the next act in the running to represent Ireland in the Eurovision Song Contest. It is none other than Samantha Mumba.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast. How are you
Thank you
doing?
for having me. I am great. Nervous, excited, all the things. But I'm good. I'm so excited to be doing this, to be totally honest. It's brilliant.
Icon, legend. Like, I don't think there's enough words to describe your status, Samantha. Like,
God.
you are an icon.
Thank you. What do you even say to that? I don't even know what to say.
Yes, I am.
Imposter syndrome. I'm like, yes, let me just hide behind my tea. No, I mean, thank you. That's madness though, but thank you.
Well, we'd better kind of get stuck into the chat of all things Eurosong. I mean, something we're dying to know, Samantha, like as Conor mentioned, icon, legend, you know, Irish pop, sweetheart, so many hits to your name. And we'll get into chatting about your career as well. But Eurosong, how has this come about? Why Eurosong? Why now?
So, to be honest, it's a funny thing because for like years now, if I'm being totally honest, every time kind of this time of year would come around, I'd always get, I say tweets, I know it's X now, but it would have been tweets that I was getting. And it was always asking me, would you do it? Why aren't you doing it? And for years, I was never asked. So I didn't even know what I just didn't know. And remember, like there wasn't always Eurosong. Some years other people just did it. I just didn't know what the politics even were behind it, to be honest. And so I figured if I was never asked, then it just wasn't something that, was necessarily wanted. And then kind of over the years and seeing different acts and artists. And I have a little girl, she's 9, well, she'll be 10 in a few months. And she is Eurovision crazy. And that was like, we love watching it. So that was a huge thing for me, where I was like, oh God, I would love to do something that like she would think was cool, like as a mom, obviously you want to be as cool for as long as you can. And so I just started kind of digging around and asking, and yeah, I didn't realize all I had to do was to kind of throw my name in the hat. And also, I don't know, I think timing is everything. And I don't even know that years ago I would have been in the right headspace for it. I would have creatively even been there. I'm very, very, this is such a personal year for me. I feel like I'm so focused. And as soon as the opportunity did arise, like writing this, immediately I knew what I wanted to write. Knew what I wanted it to sound like. I knew what I wanted it to be like. I was just very, very specific. And so that's what makes me feel like the timing of it all even is right, But all the things, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I could talk about this for hours, even putting, me and my daughter aside. I just think I've been so lucky. I've gotten to lead a beautiful, crazy, chaotic life. That is purely just down to people supporting my music and believing in me from a young age. So I just think it's a lovely, or would be a lovely honor to be able to then, represent the country and kind of do my best in that way as well. I don't know. All the things, all the feels.
And, you're definitely a name that crops up year after year after year. People have wanted you to go and represent Ireland at the biggest song contest in the world for many, many years. And does that come with a bit of pressure now this time around that you're finally dipping your toe into it?
I think there should be pressure, and I think that's healthy. It's not something that I certainly take lightly. All I can do is my best. So in terms of, I feel good about it because regardless of even what happens on Eurosong, I'm really proud of my song. I'm really proud of what I've written. I've been putting in so much work behind the scenes on this for months now. Just really, thinking about everything and the visual process and the creative, everything, every single thing. I've been Eurovision on the brain for months. So ultimately, at the end of the day, once all is said and done, at least I'll know that I've done everything in my power to make sure that I do a great performance, and ultimately it all depends on the night. It all depends on the performance, on the audience, on what people connect to, But yeah, I mean, there should be pressure. It's a big deal. There's no other way around that.
And your song, My Way, you have to think of Frank Sinatra and the likes, such an iconic song title. Can you tell us a bit about the song and how that came to be? Like, was that prepared with Eurovision in mind, or was that its own project initially?
So initially, the music, the track I'd had for a couple of years, and I loved it. And I'd written just about maybe 45 seconds, and we were just using it as an intro. It was going to be like an album intro or something. But I'd always loved the extended version of the song. But at the time when I was writing and recording stuff, that just wouldn't have gone with what kind of the overall theme would have been. And then as soon as Eurovision came up as an option, immediately I thought of that. Because it kind of has, even at the time, I always thought like almost like not a James Bond feel, but it's a big song. There's lots of strings. It's very musical. It's very dramatic, And so straight away, sorry, can you hear my dogs going crazy in the background? I'm so sorry.
You can pause if you need to.
No, not at all. I'm so sorry. They're so unpredictable. Yeah, I don't know. But as soon as this came up as an opportunity, I straight away was like, okay, I have to go back and listen to that full track. And then I just straight away just started writing, and it just felt right, and the track felt right, and the lyrics, it just fit exactly what I feel I am as an artist today, what I want to project and portray. And I do feel like it is a good fit for Eurovision in terms of it's a big song. I think it's a powerful song. So it worked out well in that regard.
And for people who might not be sure exactly, what exactly is the meaning behind My Way? So
My Way is very much so what I would consider to be my declaration of who I am, what I stand for, where I'm at in my life. I think, or I would hope a lot of people can connect to that and relate to that. Very much so calling back your own power, being in control of things. It's very, I mean, it, you know, does what it says on the tin, doing things my way and doing things your way. And I think, you know, maybe for a long time I didn't necessarily do them my way or didn't trust my own way, you know. So it's very, very much so. This is where I'm at in my life. Monster, stop. If you saw, I'm calling her Monster. If you saw her, she's like 3 pounds. But yeah, I mean, it's my declaration, and that's kind of the simplest way that I can describe it.
Amazing.
And I think before we go any further, probably let's go back a bit and really talk about how you started off. Because, like, when you look at your discography, like, you have hit after hit after hit. Like, gotta tell you, #1 in Ireland, 3 in Australia, 2 in UK, top 5 in the US. Like, you have a lot of experience, Samantha.
Thank you. I swear, even as you say this, I cringe when I hear things like this.
Reeling off the CV.
Yeah, and that's only one song. Like,
Imposter syndrome. It's the weirdest thing. Listen, I've just, if I look back on my life, that feels even like a lifetime ago. But I feel like I've definitely tried to fill a lot in on this little lifetime of mine so far. But clearly music is my passion. I've always been a writer. I've always been a performer. And so, yeah, it's funny. It's one of those things that I am really still to this day proud of, gotta tell you. I do feel like it hasn't aged terribly. I probably would still release something like that today, you know. That is one thing I will say. I'm very proud of the music that I've done in the past. Thank God it's not like, you know, I don't know. I was going to give a weird reference, but, you know, just stuff that you'd be mortified now. So no, I'm proud of the songs.
And as Conor mentioned, Samantha, like, you've had such an interesting career. Like, when you think of, you know, being plucked from a talent show and propelled into stardom in Ireland, and then, you know, traveling around performing. I believe you performed with Aaron Carter in the US, and so many kind of interesting accolades to your name. Do you think Eurovision, like, would be up there with a highlight in your career if you were to get there?
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, I think honestly for any artist, it's such an amazing stage and such an amazing platform. And I mean, of course, that would be very high up there, you know, most definitely. Again, I think for lots of reasons. I think there's a very patriotic part of me as well that would just be so proud to be representing, and just having the opportunity to kind of fly the flag, I suppose, definitely with something that I really believe in myself authentically anyway. And then from just a mother standpoint, I just want to do that so that I can show my daughter, like, look, we did it. She's been very, very instrumental in all of this, and is very, very, you know, has very strong opinions about the creativity, what I shouldn't do. She had a lot of notes when we were doing the song with all the different mixes. So it's been, you know, a really, really fun thing for us to just do together as well. But of course, I think that would be a huge highlight for any artist, really.
So your daughter has been giving you tips. Would you know of anybody else who's been in the Eurovision sphere who could give you tips?
Do you know what? Of course, I know several people. And funny enough,
you were on the Nicky Byrne podcast recently, weren't you? Speaking about it.
The funny thing about this, that's so nuts, is that he asked me about it. Now, we recorded that in October of 2023. So this actually wasn't even a thing then when I was talking about it. And weirdly, I described exactly what I wanted my performance to be and what I wanted my sound to, you know, to be. And it's very, I mean, talk about manifesting, I don't know, but it's very accurate as to what I'm going to be doing. So that's actually kind of crazy to me. And even when he sent me a message like, hey, just letting you know, I'm releasing the podcast, I was like, oh my God, like, I'd forgotten about that we'd done it because we did it so long ago. And I was like, well, hang on, because I've thrown my hat in the ring for Eurosong, and I think we talked about Eurosong. And he was like, yes, this is perfect timing. So just, that's nuts. I don't think we could have planned that if we tried, because we'd recorded it so long ago. So yeah.
And it kind of throws people off the scent by you saying, oh, I'm not, you know, haven't been asked this year. And then suddenly, you know, you're going to crop up now.
And of course, nobody's going to be like, oh, they must have recorded that 2 years ago. Yeah, funny. But yeah.
And how have you found keeping the secret? You know, have you been? We've speaking to a few of the other artists, they've been very vocal about letting it slip to a few people at certain stages. Have you been good at
Um,
keeping the secret, or?
I think it's been a bit easier for me because I've been in the States, so I haven't been at home. But obviously, like all of my closest friends have known, my closest family members have known. I mean, I've had to I've been sending them different mixes of the song for feedback and thoughts and all the things. But no, for the most part, I've been good at keeping my mouth closed because I've been so afraid of not getting in trouble. But I'm like, what if will I not be allowed to do it if I don't know? I've just been
She's a
afraid. I'm so
professional.
like the relief to even be able to talk about it now is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And of course, like we're at this moment, we're a few days away from release. When this is out, it will be out there that you are throwing your hat in the ring for Eurosong. How are you kind of preparing yourself for this?
So the preparations have been like underway and very, very full on. I mean, I think this is the most hands on I've ever been with any song. I mean, obviously with writing, even with production, I've probably been doing everybody's head in, but I've just been so militant and so specific about how I wanted it to sound. And more importantly, how I want it to feel. I want it to be that you feel something when you hear it, and certainly to tie in with the performance. So there's been a lot of dance rehearsals. I'm definitely stepping outside of my comfort zone in that regard, very, very much so. So, yeah, I've been not sleeping at night, going over choreography in my head, just all the things. But I'm very hands on with with all of it. And my creative director Mark is amazing. We've been just collaborating on everything. So yeah, we're everything has been Eurovision in my brain for like the past 3-4 months. It's on a
And
ridiculous level.
yeah, love it. That's what you need, the energy we need. We've heard the song and like we love it. It's so anthemic. And at the time of this release, of course, our listeners will have hopefully heard and enjoyed your song. So we've heard it, on audio. In terms of visuals, can you give us any clues of what you're thinking? We know you've mentioned dance rehearsals.
Yes.
Any little teasers you can give us?
I mean, definitely all I will say pertaining to the dance is that I am not in my comfort zone in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's been very good for me because it's keeping me very, very disciplined and wanting to make sure that I don't, well, for one, make a show of myself. And that I do what I'm supposed to do pertaining to that. But in terms of the visual, it's very I would say maybe avant-garde, maybe like just very delicious. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just very, maybe moody would be the wrong word. I think it just goes with the song, and I feel like, and I really do hope that people, and I think that is one thing about the songs. I really do think the performance is what connects you to the song even more than the song. I feel like there could be songs that you listen to and you're like, I don't love that, and then you see it performed and it takes on a whole different meaning for you. So that's what my hope is. I hope that even good, bad, or ugly, I just want people to feel something when they watch it. That's definitely what we've been working on. I don't know if is that in any way helpful. I probably didn't say anything good.
We understand you can't say too much. You can tell us the rest after.
I love the word delicious though. That's a really unique word to describe a performance. So I'm intrigued by that now.
Yeah. That's
on the track, your vocal is absolutely beautiful, and of course, like we know that already. But it reminds me of another song of yours, "Process," from like 2020, which I absolutely adore. Like it was on my like top songs for that year.
Oh my god! Thank you.
So how obviously it I feel like the song has stages. It starts off kind of slow, quiet, and then it builds up throughout the end.
Yeah.
Is it a challenging song to sing live for you, or do you find it kind of?
It's a big song. It's definitely a big song. And of course, I'm sure like any other vocalist, of course, I'm nervous of, I don't want to mess anything up. But I do feel like it builds at a pace vocally that is great for me in terms of, I don't know. It's one of those things, especially as a writer, when you've written something that you genuinely like emotionally connect to, I feel like that's going to help me a lot as well. Like I'm just so excited to express myself and sing those lyrics. And I mean every single one of them. And they genuinely mean something for me. And so I don't know, I'm kind of just excited to be able to perform it and sing it. And yeah, it does build as it should. And I've always loved a song that kind of gradually gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And definitely that's kind of what the performance will be as well. That will get bigger as the song goes on too. But no, I'm looking forward to singing it live.
So Eurosong, then we know it's a very different kettle of fish to Eurovision itself. Much smaller stage space, everything like that. Have you found it challenging trying to scale down ideas for that small space?
Honestly, no. And I think, maybe listen, I've been doing this for a long time, so I would be quite used to having to, scale things down, scale things up, whatever it needs to be. I think we have so many ideas for this performance and so many ideas that I would love to do if it got to the Eurovision. That's when it's really fun, where you can just go balls to the wall, on the creativity. But even just for this, we've really, I didn't want to treat it as, this is just the Eurovision part, so it's a smaller stage. So no, we're still making that as impactful. And I think that's, again, just boils down to how creative you are with it. I do want it to have a huge impact. And I'm not treating it as a smaller stage or smaller. I think, and sometimes, honestly, I think that can have even more impact when it's, a smaller stage. So we're definitely making it as much as we can make it. And RT has been great in that regard. I think they really do. They're very pro all of the acts, being comfortable and it representing, their performance representing who they are, which is amazing. So
Absolutely. So walk us through now, Samantha. Obviously, you're not in Ireland currently. When are you flying over? What's the plan? Like, will you have a little bit of time at home, or are you, flat to the mat once you land?
I
getting
cannot
ready to
wait.
go?
I leave in a couple of days. So I'm flying in a couple of days. Absolutely bursting. Cannot wait. And now it's going to be really, really busy. Obviously, I'm still going to be in rehearsals, all the things when I'm home. But I just can't wait to get home and have a fry. Oh my God. Life. I'm just dreaming of it. Like, that's just, once I get one of those in me, I'll be absolutely fine and ready for everything. But yeah, no, and I'll be home actually for a good while. If I'm going to be home, I want to be home for a good bit, So I can't wait.
Yeah, getting into
Irish
the swing.
fry, that's the proper, when you're coming
Getting the
home.
Denny sausages.
Yeah.
No, it's the Kearns for me. I don't play around with my sausages. It has to be the Kearns.
Oh.
It has to
okay.
be.
Barry's
no.
or Lions?
Barry's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Good choice.
Yeah,
Good choice.
yeah, we're happy with that. Proper Irish conversation.
And I think it would be only right for us to touch on, obviously you are in LA at the moment. How are things there, just before we move on? How are you getting on there?
Yeah, it's just a crazy time. What a way to start the new year. I'm very, very grateful. We've been in a safe zone, thankfully. But it's just been horrendous. I'm sure, as you're all seeing on the news as well, it's just nuts. Even driving around and even, seeing, like, when you're driving around here, you can see a lot of the devastation and just the smoke in the air. It's horrendous. But I think people are very, very resilient. And I think it's been incredible how much people have kind of banded together and come together and supported each other. And that's been beautiful to see. But yeah, just an absolute tragedy, like, just horrendous. So.
Well, we're glad you're safe and your family are safe as well. Eurovision itself, then, we touched on it earlier. How much of a fan are you? Do you have any favorite entries over the years from Ireland or any other countries?
So love, and it's funny. It's one of those things. Now, Sage, my daughter, we're huge Bambi Thug fans. That was just iconic to me. Just the it was just, it was incredible. Loads of, I'm trying to think, even over the years, like, there's just been so many great artists, even thinking back to, like, when I was a child, like Niamh Kavanagh, that was epic, right? Like, I remember as a child just being blown away. Riverdance, and obviously Riverdance wasn't an entry, but that changed everything to me. I mean, and to this day, if I'm at home or if I'm anywhere and Riverdance are on tour and they're performing, I have to go and see it, and it blows my mind every single time. Like I just think there's certain things like that have just stood out to me. It's so funny. I did Celebrity MasterChef with Neve. Oh God, that's a good few years ago now. And she brought her coat in and everything onto set one day so we could all see us. But just, like just things like that stick in your mind and have kind of an impact on you for sure. But Bambi Thug is a strong favourite in this household for sure.
Things we love to hear. Great taste.
Yeah, for sure.
So we have to ask you, Samantha, then, this is your time, I suppose, to speak to the listeners and to let them know, why do you think you and your song My Way should win the ticket to Basel? Why should you represent Ireland?
So I'm going to be very, very honest. I am the most typical Capricorn you will ever meet in your life. I hate asking for help. I would be lifting a 3-piece furniture set rather than asking somebody to help me lift it, that kind of way. I just it just sticks in my throat. So that is one thing that I was not nervous about, but hesitant about doing Eurosong, because I do hate that feeling of having to ask people to help and so all I will say is I really, really believe that if, you see the song, you hear the song, you watch the performance and it connects you and it moves in you and you believe in it, then please do vote. And that's really all I can do. I would never ask anybody to do something they didn't want to do or they didn't believe in. I just hope that the song connects with people the way I've connected with it and, can mean something for other people too, to be honest. Sorry,
well, no date.
Wouldn't make a great politician. That's probably terrible. But
a true Capricorn.
Yeah.
Sticking to the star sign.
It just sticks in my throat to ask for help. No, genuinely, obviously I really do just want people to vote if they love and connect with the song and the performance. So.
Well, we have no doubt that if you were to go to Eurovision, we would be very proud as a nation. And even in Eurosong, you will do us proud. So we just want to wish you the best of luck and enjoy every single moment of it. You're in the Eurovision community now, whether you go or not.
So I feel very honored. Yes. Thank you guys.
You're so welcome. And where can people find you in the meantime, Samantha? Where are you on socials if people want to keep up with you?
Social. So it's Instagram is my favorite, and that's just Samantha Mumba. Twitter, X, whatever it's called, I'm allergic to, but I am on there. Samantha Mumba 1. I probably should be logging in a little bit more often now. And what else? That's it. I do have TikTok, but I'm 42. I'm just struggling to get into the TikTok thing. And then it was banned, and I was like, grand. I don't have to worry about that. And then of course, less than 24 hours, it's back. That out as well. But I'm there. I'm on everything.
Thank you so much for joining us, Samantha. It was an absolute pleasure to talk with you and enjoy the ride. Best of luck with everything.
Fingers crossed. Thank you so much.
So, lads, Samantha Mumba has been on the Eurovision podcast. Deadly. So cool to chat to her.
I think we were a bit starstruck.
I was definitely starstruck. I also had come directly from my day and you come directly from your day, so we were like, here we go. I was a little bit definitely I'm a 90s baby, so peak time of Samantha being a pop star, a pop princess in Ireland, household name still. Everybody loved her, everybody loves her, and what a lovely person, such a kind of modest sound personality.
Yeah, I think often with established acts, sometimes there might be that preconception of will they have a bit of an ego? And we've seen it sometimes in the past with, established acts in Eurosong that they might have a bit of an ego. Samantha, honestly, was the most loveliest person I've ever spoken to on this podcast. She was just so genuine. Her smile was infectious coming through the camera. And I'm dying to meet her in person. I can just feel the warmth coming through.
She's a very warm person. I love the way she spoke about her daughter so much and kind of her daughter's impact on what she wants to do, and
such an involvement in it. I love that.
Yeah. Absolutely. We have to move with the times, we have to have to encourage the youngsters to enjoy Eurovision and add to it. I mean, gosh, Connor, when we're old and grey, we'll be watching Eurovision going, back in my day, we couldn't do that with the LED screens. It'll be cool. It'll be cool to see. But yeah, what an amazing woman. And I mean, obviously she's going to bring a plethora of experience to this Eurosong performance. I loved how, you asked her about managing, I suppose, the Late Late Show space and resources, and she was so kind of easy breezy of, well, I've had to scale my performances up and down, and like essentially she's flexible to molding her performance into what Studio 4 is ultimately, and making it a team performance. So it'll be cool to see what she does there. Anything else to go for you there from our chat?
Yeah, I was intrigued to hear about the writing process, and it's not something that was specifically wrote for Eurovision. It's also, a big thing for us speaking with artists who've gone in the past who've sat down in the studio and wrote for Eurovision. We often say that there is no type of Eurovision song nowadays. Any song, whether it's good or bad, can be submitted to Eurovision. So, and definitely listening to My Way, you definitely hear that. There's no, what's the way of describing it? There's no like preconceived, you know, deep, meaningful message, stereotypical, like bland message of like, we're in this together, we're all loving each other. Like you can tell speaking with Samantha that it's a very personal message to her, like doing it my way, not listening to others, letting other people have an impact on her. It was definitely just her own thoughts, her own input into the song. Even like talking to her post the interview, like the release date was 2/2/2. Did you notice that? So there's
Yeah.
obviously a deep meaning behind that for Samantha. So yeah, it seems to be a big song for her, um, on a deep, meaningful level, which
Mm.
is important. You got to have a connection to the song that you're singing, and Samantha clearly does. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how it is, presented to us on the stage. Like
What
you
do you think
said,
of the song?
what do I think of the song? I really love Samantha's vocal on the song. It is beautiful at the start. That kind of like just it kind of grabs. Oh my god! It kind of like grabs you. Just kind of really quiet, and you can kind of hear the
Mm.
instrumental popping through. Um, it builds a bit slow for me, in my opinion. I think it would need a bit of work, but I can see what she's trying to do with it. It's not a ballad, it's not a pop banger. It's kind of slightly a mix of two with a bit of R&B in there as well. For me, is it a bit slightly messy right now in its current form, and I think as she told us herself, it probably will come more alive when it is performed live because
Mm.
you will have the visuals. Listening to it, it's a tiny, tiny bit messy for me in parts.
Mm.
But again, plenty of time to work on that. No doubt that she can sing this. Her vocals are unbelievable. So it's literally just purely the song, clean it up a bit. And I think she's definitely in with the fighting chance. You can't write off Samantha Mumba. What do
Absolutely
you make of the song?
not. Yeah, I feel quite similarly, I would say, Connor. I think like the middle of the song is where I get into it the most. I just love strings. So um that kind of Riverdance-esque theme that's going throughout is quite appealing. Now it does then get a little bit repetitive, I think. Um I think the start of the song is gorgeous. She's got lovely low tones. It takes almost a full minute for it to really get into gear, and I agree with you. For me, it just maybe takes a little bit long to kick off the song and maybe to keep listeners hooked. I also just think there's a bit of cleaning up to do at the end, like instrumental wise, I suppose. But yeah, I'm very open to seeing how this is going to be live. I'm intrigued by Samantha noting that she's at dance rehearsals and that she's very out of her comfort zone. I don't know what that means, and we don't have any further info on that. So I think that's going to come the week of Eurosong, whatever that may be. And in fairness, I suppose at this stage we're still 3 weeks out. I imagine the form that My Way is in now is going to evolve a little bit before we get to the late
Yeah,
studio, and we don't know that has sleeve.
exactly. Yeah.
I think she's a savvy lady. You know, I
No,
think she'll have a
absolutely.
good team, and
She'll certainly have a team.
Def.
The connections she has probably in the industry.
She mentioned a creative director, and
Yeah.
like often Eurosong acts don't even have that at their disposal. So that's a great start. But yeah, I like the song. I agree. I think there's improvements that could be made, but ultimately I'm intrigued to see
I can
what the full
see
package will
I can
be.
see the vision. I can
Yes,
see what she's trying to
absolutely.
execute. I just
Yeah.
don't think she's there right now.
Yeah.
But I think if she were to get there, I think this could be epic.
More of
At
a build,
Eurovision?
more like
Immediate.
get the build in quicker,
Yeah.
and then build it and then make it really like crazy loud at the end, proper anthemic. I think if that's the theme you're going with, run with it. You know,
But it makes sense that she obviously told us that this was in the planning for maybe possibly an album intro. I can understand that because it does take that bit long to build into.
yeah,
So it does make sense to be an intro for an album. But Eurovision, you need to be impactful. You have 3 minutes on that stage. You can't have viewers waiting, what is it, a minute and 20 to kind of start building. We'll check out by then. So you need
it's
to
like
get
if
there.
you make a TikTok and you spend the first half of the TikTok coming and hoeing what you're going to talk about,
Yeah.
everyone's clicked out.
Yeah.
You know, we're in the age of like attention spans being worse than they ever were.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, this is like such a solid, you know, just another great diverse entry in this general Eurosong 2025 lineup, I think, Conor. I mean, if you look at the 5 we have so far, we have Bobby Arlo, who just blew everyone's socks off at the start of the week. We had Railta, we had Emmy, Aji, returning artist, lots of excitement for people there. And like the one, the only iconic pop sweetheart, Samantha Mumba. Like, this is such a year for the girls, by the way. Yeah, such a diverse, interesting lineup so far, and I'm buzzing for everyone to find out number 6. Quite an interesting one.
Yeah. The one that isn't on people's radars at the moment, I would say.
No,
To be excited to see. You
we're
never know. It'll probably be
eagle-eyed.
leaked by the time this is out, but known this year, but we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment,
Someone
as we
will
record
have
this,
messaged it to some random
Yeah.
Instagram account,
and then play dumb. It's like, oh, come on now, lads, just cop on, millions. But it's good to see the build up. It's exciting. I can't call it. I
actually know at this moment in time, this is the most open I've seen a Euro song for quite a while.
Most competitive, would you say? I think this is more competitive than last year in a way.
Yeah, as in it's just not as clear. Like it ended up looking more like a 2-horse race last year as we got to Eurosong week, and a lot of that was based off like the online streams, reactions we were seeing, comments from the general public, and so on. So maybe we need like another week or two to sit and see. I think this is going to be so split because I'm looking at the 6, Conor, and I see definitely 2 or 3 that are jury pleasers and 2 or 3 that are more televote pleasers. And ultimately, it's going to come who's going to rise to the top, who's going to steal enough points. Ooh, scratching the mic. Sorry, audio listeners.
ASMR.
Yeah, who's going to snatch enough points from each jury or televote, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be an interesting one to watch, but
let us know who you guys think is in the running below if you're watching on YouTube, or obviously contact us on socials. If you're listening on audio, I feel like we've our finger in all the pies at the moment.
Oh Jesus, we're being greedy with everything. We're on everything.
We just want you to find us everywhere. You can't escape us. I've actually been very I don't think I'm tired enough for this Eurosong season. Normally I'm more like losing brain cells at this point.
Yeah.
We're very calm this year.
I'm getting there.
Tune in to any of our like lives that we're doing during this week or at the end of this week, and there'll probably be a bit more chaos from Conor, Alex, and I. But
no, this is always the chaotic part of Eurosong. It's just like you have episodes every day. You have episodes coming left, right, and center. You have interviews happening. I love that kind of 2-week period where you can kind of sit with the songs, really tune in to see what people are thinking and how like feelings develop over the 2 weeks. And then of course, like the monopoly that is Eurosong, like Studio 4 just throws everything up in the air again, and you don't know what you're going to get. Someone who could be top of the odds suddenly falls because they just didn't get the concept of a small space. You know, anything can happen, and that's the beauty, I guess, with Eurosong. You just don't know what you're going to expect.
Or you do next to 9 and you get, what was it, 12 in the international jury and then like 4 in the Irish jury, and there's just no rhyme or
two last,
in the Irish jury. No rhyme or reason to that, you know. So yeah, it's the beauty of Eurosong. I mean, All is wide open.
Keeps you on your toes at least.
Listen, we won't be bored this next couple of weeks, I tell you.
We won't.
Also, can I shout out, there was a comment on our, I believe, was it on one of our TikToks? I should have kept a note of who it was. So apologies if I think I've forgotten your username, but somebody commented on, I think, either one of our TikTok or Instagram reels at the start of this Eurosong week saying, what does my life come to when Eurosong on the Late Late and Malta's Mesk are my 2 top national finals of the year? And you know what I say to that? I say, yup, Malta.
Yeah.
Yup, the
Serving cans.
island nations. I will be in Malta in February and I will be looking for all those Mesk artists. You best believe. I can't wait to get stuck into those national finals with you,
Yeah,
Conor.
I'm
It's gonna be
excited for
fun.
that. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's the start of the season. It's amazing. It's so good.
So
What
stay
a way to
tuned.
start the year.
Stay
It's
tuned,
exciting.
guys.
But yeah, that is it for the journey to Eurosong with the very, very lovely and amazing Samantha Mumba. If you guys would like to support what we're doing, of course, we're in our brand new studio for the year. We're getting there. We're making improvements and seeing what works and what doesn't work. So if you want to help us improve it, you can visit us at buymeacoffee.com/Airvision, where you can throw us a coffee or two if you can. We're also on so many social media platforms, as we were alluding to. We literally have our toes in every single pool at the moment. We're on TikTok at Airvision Podcast, Instagram at Airvision Podcast as well, X, Twitter, whatever you call it nowadays, Airvision Pod. We're also on Blue Sky. I haven't got a clue what the handle is, but just look up for Airvision. Email us at airvisionpodcast@gmail.com. Send us a voice note. Send us an email, whatever you want to do. We'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the week as we conclude our journey to Eurosong very, very closely. But there you go.
Sorry for the audio listeners. I did a love heart with my hands, and
it's popping out on the screen.
It's popping out on the screen.
Why? I did not know we could do
Yeah.
that.
God, I'm really plugging the YouTube on these
Jeez,
episodes.
the Buy Me a Coffee is doing well for the graphics, isn't it? But yeah, Lou, for the moment, I guess all we got to say is
Slán go fóill.